Oh, we did it. Since I'm a few minutes late, I'm going to wait and see if anybody still wants to hop on tonight. Had some technical difficulties. Oh, hi, a couple people hopped on. Thank you so much for your patience. I could not get a connection out in my office to save my life. I tried everything. So I hijacked my husband's office. The lighting's not that great in here, but it's not too bad. It's so funny because Ruta and I were talking earlier about we had a plan. I had a special guest I was going to interview, and it didn't work out tonight, and I am not stressed about it because we just figured that's the way it's supposed to be. It's kind of ironic that the topic tonight is the butterfly effect. Oh, we got a few people that have hopped on. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and just introduce myself and get started while we wait for folks to hop on. And if at any point you think there's someone that could benefit from this while we're watching, please invite them. Feel free to share this at any point with anybody. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, hi. Okay, I couldn't see the comments. And a little bit rattled, but I'm good. Hey there, Kathy. Okay, here we go. We're rolling. So anyway, I'm Mary Moss. Welcome to Mary's Monday Musings. I am an author, a writer, poet, speaker, and in my other life, my day job, I'm an administrator for an international company. I like that a lot, but obviously I like the other better. I will put some links in here after the live to my new author page if you haven't seen it yet. Hey, Deidre. I'm going to talk about you in a few minutes. And some other links. And if you all have any other resources as we go along, feel free while we're live or afterwards to drop the links. Deidre, I'd love for you to drop coins for cakes in the comments. Like I said, we'll talk about that a little bit in a little bit. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Like I said, hi, Helen. I don't know if you're familiar with the butterfly effect. It's something that I think is really fascinating. And I think there's a movie out about it, but I haven't seen it. It's a theory that everything in existence is connected to everything else, and that no matter what one thing does, it affects everything else in the universe. So, like in layman's terms, like if you or I or any other living creature does anything, it affects everything, just like knocking down a set of dominoes, which is kind of off-putting a little bit, I think. But, for example, the main theory is that if a butterfly flaps its wings, the result days later is that there's a tornado on the other side of the world. And it all started like as that first part of the butterfly flapping its wings started a chain reaction that led to that. And there's many, many steps in between. But this applies really to everything in our lives. It really made me, as I was looking, delving a little more deeply in this tonight, to think about the consequences of every decision we make, everything that we decide to do or not to do. You oversleep and you're late for work. I'll never forget some of the stories of the people after 9/11 who said they missed their train, or they overslept, or their child stayed home sick, so they weren't in the towers when they came down. And that was not an inconsequential chain of events. That was something huge. But even on a smaller scale, we make decisions every day to do or not to do something that impacts everybody else that we come in contact with. Maybe we aren't feeling that good and we have plenty of sick time, but we have a deadline pending and we decide to go into work. And later in the day, while we're at work, our house is broken into. That's not a coincidence. We could have been hurt. Or think about, more recently, the example of all these mass shootings and everything that are going on. So many people have said, well, I knew, I saw the posts on social media. I knew they had all these guns. I knew they had problems. The police came out so many times. What if at some point along the way, somebody had done something differently? And we'll never know. We'll never know. But it really gives you pause to stop and think about it, especially something that large a scale. Think about, for instance, you decide to ignore the alarm or the warning thing on your car that your air pressure's low, and you get on the interstate and a tire blows out and you get in a crash and someone is hurt, and just think about all of the consequences of one decision not to get the maintenance done in a timely manner that you needed to get done. Those are small, kind of seemingly insignificant things, but we also, we can't escape the effect, because even deciding not to do things can have a huge consequence on the rest of the world. And I've been talking a lot about dreams and working on dreams, and a lot of times, I know for me, and I think for a lot of my friends, especially those of us who have been in that dream coach, we say, well, we don't want to be bragging. We don't want to be talking about, I don't want to be talking about, oh, I wrote a poem today, or I got another devotional done, or I'm writing this book, look at me. And yet there are a couple of really great things that have happened in sharing my story. And I know there are a lot of other things that have happened by other people sharing their stories. When I did the live a couple weeks ago with my beautiful friend Gretchen, a friend messaged me recently and said, as a result of that, I got back to journaling and using my Bible and doing Bible study with the journal, and I hadn't done that in years. That was so impactful to me, because it affirmed for me that what we do is important. And the things that our coach, John Eric, told us was that our dreams don't belong to us, they belong to the world. And so we have an extreme responsibility to make sure that our dreams are put out into the world. So that's someone who maybe their life hasn't changed in huge ways, but if that brings someone a peace of mind and and comfort and healing, then that's huge. That's huge. Ruta is one of the Ruta Record is one of the women that I met in Florida, and her little boy the other day, I guess, had some time out of school early, I guess, from all the crazy snow we've been having. And he decided he wanted to make a book, so she, stapled together some papers, and he'd do all the illustrations and then dictated the story to her. And it was a wonderful story. Well, she mentioned to him, oh, my friend Mary is writing a book. And she said his eyes got really big. And he wanted me to know that he had written this book. So she shared the picture with me, and I commented, how great the book was, and he got really excited. So then he wanted her to tape her reading the story, so that I could hear the whole story, which she did, and she shared it with me in Messenger. And actually, I was going to interview him tonight, but he's not feeling well. Here's the thing about her little boy. He's 6, and he wrote a really great story. And he and I are writing buddies now, because first of all, to find out that an adult also was writing books. And I, told him that I would make a deal with him that if he would write 10 minutes a day, I would write 30 minutes a day, and that we would eventually get all of our books written that we needed to write. Now, had I not been sharing my journey with Ruta and with the world, the Facebook, she probably never would have brought that up to him. And he might not have been encouraged in the same way that he now is inspired to pursue writing. And maybe that won't be his career. Maybe he won't do that for his whole life. Maybe in 2nd grade he'll find something else that he's interested in. But that's just an example of why it's so important that we put ourselves out there and that we share the good, the bad, and the ugly, because, people don't want to just see the final cut. They want the outtakes too. So, those are some examples of how just doing my thing every day, writing my 30 minutes and talking about the challenges that I face, or talking about the little victories that I have along the way, and my friends doing the same thing. They're making a difference in the world. We never know who we're touching, whose life we're touching, who we're inspiring. And again, that butterfly effect, our coach talked about at one point, and I've been questioning everyone who was there, and we can't remember the exact number, but he talked about there were 30 of us in the room, and he did some kind of crazy math, because he can do that, where he told us that, our decisions to go after our dreams could affect thousands of years of human history, to 3 generations. And that it gives me goosebumps just talking about it right now, to think about that. So that's important. What we do is important. Our dreams are important for that reason. So I told you I was going to talk, Deidre, talk about you a little bit. Deidre is starting a nonprofit called Coins for Cakes, where or the charity that she does, what she's been doing on her own, and it's starting to branch out. She delivers birthday cakes to children in domestic violence shelters. Now, don't you think that has an impact on some child's life? And the mom, who's in the shelter, that's like a giant hug to that mom. And that offers hope. It offers just an extension of love that they may not have been experiencing in a domestic violence situation. So it seems like something small, but it's huge to those people. And, Deidre will probably never know, and, maybe the rest of us will never know, but it's huge to that child and to that mom. So I'm just thrilled that she does that. I have another friend, so many things, and I'll be highlighting a lot of the dreams in the weeks ahead, but Deidre came to mind because we've kind of been chatting back and forth, and I want to collaborate with her on a couple of things down the road. And my friend Catherine, something as simple as she has the Mom Like Me, where it's all anonymous. That's what's really great. Yeah, Deidre. Catherine is a young mom, and she's just an awesome, awesome lady. But she shares her journey as a young mom, the challenges, the good, the bad, the ugly, like I just said. And her goal is to reach out to other moms to let them know that they're not alone, how they're feeling on their having a rough day, they're having a good day. they're having, whatever challenges they're having, that there are other moms out there who get it, that there are others in the world who understand that they're not alone. She encourages them to, get help if you need it. If you need, medical intervention, if you need counseling, if you just need to reach out to a friend. And Catherine has been sharing her story, but also having other moms share their stories, so that she can encourage and lift up others. And those are just a couple. Jill, my friend Jill, she kind of turned her whole life upside down, and that of her family too. And they're now living on the family farm that's been in her husband's family, and she's doing a lot of things around feeding people. That's always been a love of hers, and she's still figuring out what all those ministries are going to be, but she's managing a soup kitchen, or a feeding ministry through her church, and doing some other things, and that's continuing to grow. And all of these ministries, my book, my coach reminded me that my book is not the end of my dream, it's the launching pad. But of course, in order for that to happen, I have to finish this. And my book, my goal is to help people who are dealing with grief and loss, disappointment, whatever, heartache, that there is hope and healing through that journey on the other side, that your faith can be restored and renewed after going through the really difficult spiritual and emotional times. So that's my goal for this book, is to offer comfort and hope for people. And then beyond that, we just shall see what happens. So you can see how the smallest decisions that we make to do or not to do something affects everything around us, everyone around us. People, that we don't even know. At work, I've started humming. I'm a hummer. And all the guys that I work with were pretty quiet before I got there. And they've gotten a lot more chatty, and I think they kind of look forward to my humming when I come in. And but they've also taught me so much. They've encouraged me in my new job, and they've shared their knowledge and wisdom with me and their personalities. And so that's been mutually beneficial. And they don't know the situation that I came from before I had that job. So that's been wonderful. The police officers, I'm in a part of a huge office park. Right, don't think that something you do is too small because somebody needs it. That's right. I was telling my project manager, and I'm in part of a big office park, and so we have the police direct traffic in and out of our parking lots. Hey, Janet, thanks for hopping on. And every day, I have to turn left. And so we have one officer who stops the traffic on one side, and then the other who goes like this and waves us through. And every day I smile and wave at each of them and say, mouth thank you to them. And the other day, I don't remember if I wasn't feeling that great or what was going on, but I guess I looked kind of serious, and I didn't really look up. I was probably looking at my phone. And I looked up, and the officer went like this. Like, where's my smile and wave? So that just really tickled me, and it really touched me. And it's like Deidre just said, you don't know, they stand out there in the cold, in the rain, in the heat. I'm sure people get mad at them because they don't like the way they're directing traffic. But, hey, Jean, but, so that's a small way that you can impact someone's life. So maybe they go home not quite as grumpy, who knows? Maybe they stop somebody after their little duty there is over and don't give them a ticket because somebody else was nice to them. Who knows? We just never know. But everything we do or don't do makes a difference to the world. So anyway, I didn't mean to get too heavy. I hope I didn't. I guess I'll just leave everybody with the idea of, get out there and flap your wings. Flap your wings, because the universe is waiting for the repercussions of what happens next. So listen, thanks for hopping on tonight. I'm going to keep it short. Try not to ramble on too long. If you know of anybody that you think could use this information, share it with them. That's right, Janet. Leave people better than you found them. Leave the world a better place because you're in it. That's for sure. I hope you all have a great rest of your night, a great week, and get out there and flap those wings. I can't wait to see what you do. Good night.